want us trapped while you all laugh behind the scenes. You want us sick, you think we're dumb. You want us blind, then you want us drugged. You want us poor while you get more of everything. But you don't get to tell me what to think and what to do. No, you don't get to tell me what is true. 'Cause you're just liars, cheats and crooks. Change the rules and you burn the books. And so I don't believe a single word you say. You're all liars, fakes and cons. Want you out and we want you gone. So don't believe this time you'll get away. You want us tricked, you want us numb. You want us scared and you want us stumped. You want us shot, you want us bought in every way. You want our minds, you want our time. You want us framed up in your crime. I hope you know that it's time to go and we're taking names. 'Cause you don't get to tell us what to think and what to do. No, you don't get to tell us what is true. 'Cause you're just liars, cheats and crooks. Change the rules and you burn the books. And so we don't believe a single word you say. You're all liars, fakes and cons. Want you out and we want you gone. So don't believe this time you'll get away. 'Cause we see la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies. You don't get to tell us what to think and what to do. You don't get to tell us what to think and what to do. You don't get to tell us what to think and what to do. You're just liars, cheats and crooks. Change the rules and you burn the books. And so we don't believe a single word you say. You're all liars, fakes and cons. Want you out and we want you gone. So don't believe this time you'll get away. 'Cause we see la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies. 'Cause we're just liars, cheats and crooks. Change the rules and we burn the books. So we don't believe a single word you say. Want you out, want you gone. So don't believe this time you'll get away. We see la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies. 'Cause we see la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies. 'Cause we see la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies. 'Cause we see la 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 all your lies. La 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 all your lies.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us start the show. Oh yeah, Viva's radio voice. Starting with a little Alex Stein, Primetime 99, pimp on a blimp, getting asked to show his man bits.
This is like
You don't have balls.
I have huge testicles.
Where's your proof?
They're right in my pants, and I don't.
Show me your
I'm not
proof.
gonna. You want to see my genitals? So, sir, you just came here and asked me to see my genitals.
Show me the proof, dumbass.
We have you on camera, sir. That you just came here unapproached and is asking to see my naked genitalia. Do you realize?
Well, I guess you don't have balls then.
Because I don't want to expose myself and show you.
Yeah, that's what you are, you Nazi. You don't want to expose yourself and tell the truth.
Wait, why am I Nazi? Because I don't want to show you my testicles?
No, you're the dumb one.
How am I the dumb one?
Because you're not getting anything I'm saying.
Because you just asked to see my testicles, correct?
Because you're a piece of shit.
So that's why you want to see my balls?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a theory to this, and I shared it on Twitter. I think this guy is like the next generation of Alex Stein, Primetime 99. I think this guy is actually trolling the trolls. I'm not sure if I'm serious about that, because if he's not, and I'm saying this not to be mean, he's either wildly drunk at about noon, or something else is wrong with his cognitive abilities here.
Because I'm a piece of shit, you want to see my testicles?
I want you to show the truth. Do you have balls?
Yes, I do. They're right here.
I don't see them.
I'm kind of. You can kind of see how they're.
Oh, really?
See how they're.
Are you getting a zoom in on that? Look
They're
at this
right
retard out here
Alex,
showing off his bulge.
I can't see it.
I just got him to do
it.
that.
You asked to see this.
You're trying to get my goat? I just got you to show everyone your bulge.
I show everybody my bulge every day. They're very large. What do
Good
you
for
mean?
you, dumbass.
How am I dumb?
Because you are.
And you think you're smart by sitting here begging a man to show him your genitals?
I think you're a piece of shit.
Why is that?
Because you are.
I'm very confused. He seems to be on a university campus. It seems to be midday, so very unlikely that he would be drunk or on some sort of cognitive impairing supplements.
Trickling down like that cum.
Like right here, this is a showdown. This guy is trolling Alex Stein. I think, at least that's my a reasonable hypothesis.
Down your pants.
Why? What is the deal with my penis and ejaculating? What's going on?
It's a showdown. It's like Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Plot twist, spoiler alert for anybody who wants to watch the movie. At the end of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, the Dirty Rotten Scoundrels found out they got played by the innocent victim woman in the movie. I think I just ruined the movie for everybody who hasn't seen it. It's a classic. You should all watch it. I think Primetime 99 might be getting trolled by some guy who's damn good. And if he's not damn good, dude needs to seek some serious professional advice immediately. Good afternoon, everybody. 12:34. Okay, I'm going to go into the locals community to see, and I'll check on the other platforms, Rumble and CommyTube. Do we like this new format of the intro? We get a little beautiful song to start off the day 4.5 minutes early so that people can trickle in and we get started at 12:30. It's 5 times August. The song is available on everywhere. And then we get into the actual intro funny video, which was the way I was doing it before. But then people were missing the video. And like, oh, I just got here. I got to watch it at 2x. And then I don't see what you're talking about in the... Good. I see in our locals community, Dashman91 says, it's very good. And Jenny Beans over on Rumble says Rumble. The song is 5 times August. Liars, cheats, and crooks. Whenever I say the song, I got the rhythm with it. Liars, cheats, and crooks. And it's on Apple. So go make that number 1 in whatever category that song is on the interwebs. Holy hell. Look, the latest breaking news is that there's intercontinental ICBMs being blasted across Europe. I'm not going to get into that. But I wake up this morning, I'm like, oh, kind of a quiet news day. I'm going to go, talk about the transgender idiocy that we're seeing on Twitter. And then the news starts breaking. And then I forget to even pull up those tweets, which we're going to talk about in a bit. But yeah, the breaking news of the day, which we're going to talk about, Jussie Smollett is walking. Many of you know him as Jussie Smollett. That very famous Parisian actor, French actor, Jussie Smollett, is walking. And we'll break it down. At least I'll break it down as much as my understanding of it now that it's breaking news and having seen some of the a portion of the judgment. Incidentally, Uncivil Law is going through a meticulous coverage of that. You can watch that later. I put the link up for everybody. They don't even dismiss it on Double Jeopardy. They go with detrimental reliance, meaning we had a deal. Kim, was it Kim Fox? I forget the name of the deal. We had a deal. And you got to respect that deal because Double Jeopardy never attached. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Pete Hegseth is in a little bit of trouble, except it's always the same play. Racism, Russia accusations, or find someone to gin up or bring up an old sexual impropriety accusation. We're going to talk about it because I have to check my own internal, not biases, but motivated reasoning. I have to check my own biases when reading this story. We're going to read it. And we're going to pick on little Tammy Duckworth. Boopsy says Gaetz pulls out of the nomination. That's the biggest news for me. What could be the plans for him now? What? If I may, Boopsy, I didn't have that on the list now. And now I've got to go see what the hell is going on? Let me just go to my Twitter feed. Breaking: Matt Gaetz withdraws to become AG. Holy sweet mercy. Well, we're going to start with that, people. Let me just make sure that I don't bring up my DMs. Not that there's any. Before today's show, I was talking to my wife in front of the camera, and I was like, I have a psychological disorder. I was like, I feel fat, and I lift up my shirt, and I was like, do I look fat? And she's like, Dave, your camera's on. I was like, well, we're not live yet, thank goodness, although we could have been. And but now the deep state has pictures of my torso. Holy hell. Luke Rudkowski is sharing this. Score one for the deep state. And then we got a statement from Matt Gaetz. I had excellent meetings with senators yesterday. I appreciate the thoughtful feedback and the incredible support of so many. While the momentum was strong, it is clear that my confirmation was unfairly becoming a distraction to the critical work of the Trump-Vance transition. There is no time to waste on needlessly protracted Washington scuffle. Thus, I'll be withdrawing my name from consideration to serve as Attorney General. Trump's DOJ must be in place and ready on day one. I remain fully committed to see that Donald J. Trump is the most successful president in history. I will forever be honored that President Trump nominated me for the lead Department of Justice, and I'm certain he will save America. Okay, here are my thoughts in real time, thinking out loud, and I reserve the right to be very wrong on this. It was not a questionable, it was a big fat middle finger to the rhinos status quo to appoint Matt Gaetz. But some of us did say at the time he wasn't, even from a professional experience, the most experienced of the, what would have been hardcore MAGA potential picks. I was, thinking Ken Paxton. There were some out there who were thinking Bailey is Missouri or Mississippi. And there are some who might have thought that this was, on the one hand, maybe, I don't know. Is it crazy to think that this was the plan from all along? Gaetz knew it wasn't going to fly, but this was a way to make some waves and show them what Trump's plans are. And so it's not necessarily a win for the deep state, but rather it's maybe a warning to the deep state as to what Trump is planning on doing. And they're going to find a very capable, very loyal, and very law-abiding attorney general replacement. Or they actually successfully browbeated Matt Gaetz into withdrawing. Either way, first of all, this makes me love Matt Gaetz even more in the platonic, legal, professional, political sense. I love Matt Gaetz even more now. The man is a man of principle, which is why I'm sure Trump picked him. But I think that there could have very easily been a play that even Trump knew this wouldn't. If the plan was never to actually run and hold Senate confirmation hearings on Matt Gaetz, but say, this is what's coming, MFers, and you'd better get with it. Test public support, show the public support of the populist base of MAGA to these senators who may not be willing to represent the voice of the people who just elected Donald John Trump as president. And now he says, okay, we can back it off now. It was never going to happen. We knew it was never going to happen. And now you come in with a Ken Paxton or what's his name? Bailey. Sorry, let me just make sure. Bailey AG, is it Missouri? Yeah, Missouri. Okay, it's Missouri. Who's been doing amazing work. Andrew Bailey, Missouri Attorney General. Missouri v. Biden. I mean, you got Missouri v. Biden is Bailey. And so it's not even that it's a step down. I won't say it's a step up. You're comparing all things good. Bailey has a track record. Bailey would be a badass. And Bailey also has a track record of going after the Biden regime politically, ideologically to take it down. Okay, so that's interesting. I'm seeing here, and he gave up his seat in Congress. Stupid. Makes sense. Math and logic are not my strong suit, says N. Spence. Shows cowardice, in my opinion, says C. Wags 48. That's over on Rumble. Can't disagree with that. Matt can get Marco Rubio's senator position. Hey, we'll talk about this Sunday. I have to actually, those types of nuances I'm not totally familiar with. But I guess it's going to be the segue into the next one that they are trying to browbeat out of an appointment or drum up the support for a vote against Pete Hegseth. Remember, at first, it's just amazing. It's actually almost crazy that it's the same thing over and over again each and every time. We're going to skip the 30 years, but Clarence Thomas, well, you can't really get Clarence Thomas on many things, although now they're going after him for ethics violations, taking gifts and whatever, make him resign. They went after Clarence Thomas for sex improprieties allegations. Brett Kavanaugh, who had been in the federal system for decades, gone through several clearances, whatever, when he gets the appointment and they're having their hearings for his confirmation hearings for the Supreme Court, 35-year-old allegations from Christine Blasey Ford, CIA asset extraordinaire, MK Ultra victim, as far as I'm concerned. They find sexual improprieties. Tulsi Gabbard, they got to go with the Russian asset angle on that. I guess maybe she doesn't have enough of a, I don't know what her background is, that maybe those accusations of sexual improprieties would never stick to Tulsi Gabbard in the first place. But they're doing it again. Pete Hegseth. At first, it was, who's Pete Hegseth? How can you have a Secretary of Defense who has no military experience? He's just a talk show host. Pete Hegseth. How can you have it? He's just a Saturday morning talk show host. Who the hell is Pete? And then people don't know that he's got 2+ decades. I appreciate some people were telling me that his awards might be standard awards given. And so maybe, I don't know how the military works either, never served. But people didn't know of his military experience, combat experience, 2 Bronze Hearts, among other military accolades. They did that. And now that one has faded out, they've come up with accusations of sexual improprieties. They've dug up accusations from 7 years ago. Check this out. Let me get the article. And by the way, I can tell you, I know my propensity is to say this is bullshit. I like Hegseth, and I'm going to be forgiving on what I might otherwise be unforgiving on had it been a Democrat who's accused of this. There's 2 things. At its most charitable to Hegseth, it shows it shows judgment that I would not exercise. I would not do. Having consensual, at the most charitable, it's consensual relations with a woman who he knew was married at a conference after a night of drinking. Not something I have ever done, and not something I would ever do. At its most charitable. At its most uncharitable, you believe the woman who no charges were ever pressed. They had some sort of settlement. But I'll tell you why I'm a little bit skeptical of the woman's version of events. Because we'll get there in a second. I'll tell you up the front so that nobody takes this out of context. The woman was married, is out at a Republican conference. We're going to get to this in a second. Drinking in a bar, gleefully, and then leaving, as per video footage, arm in arm, smiling with Pete Hegseth, a married woman whose husband is at the event. So in the event, in the realm of possibility, was it non-consensual, or was it a woman who's like, holy shit, I just cheated on my husband and now I've got to come up with a damn good excuse. I'll let you play the judge. Police report reveals new details from sexual assault allegation against Trump's defense secretary nominee. It's amazing. 7 years old, by the way, only comes up now, but it's to be expected. And had the political roles been inverted, I would expect people to make hay of this, and I would expect them to use it as a weapon. California woman told police that Trump cabinet pick Pete Hegseth physically blocked her from leaving a hotel room. He blocked her from leaving, which the underlying implication is that she entered consensually at 2:00 in the morning, give or take, after leaving a bar, smiling gleefully with Pete Hegseth. Okay. Took her phone and then sexually assaulted her, even though she, quote, remembered saying no a lot, end quote. Police report obtained by CNN. Okay. The police report, 22 pages, shows some details. It was released under a FOIA request. It's 7 years old. This occurred back in 2017. So Hegseth, we know he's been picked as Secretary of Defense. He told police that the encounter was consensual and that he repeatedly made sure the woman was comfortable with what was going on between the two of them. That was in quotes. 7 years after the alleged assault, questions over what happened that night could jeopardize his nomination. He wasn't charged. His attorneys acknowledged Hegseth later entered into a settlement agreement with the accuser, that included an undisclosed monetary payment. Hold on. All right. So they say, and you know, this is an amazing thing. Like, if you're going to make a statement that is undeniably true, not one that is easily retorted from a political perspective. Quote, this police report confirms what I've said all along, that the incident was fully investigated. That's true. And police found the allegations to be false. You know that someone's going to say that's not what the report says. Unless the report says that, which apparently the report doesn't say the allegations were false. No charges were ever laid, which is where you could have left it. So you don't give fodder to an easy rebuttal to contradict a portion of a statement. No charges were filed, said Timothy Parlator, Hegseth's attorney, told CNN. Okay. Although the report does not say the allegations were to be false. The woman accused Hegseth of assault. She broke into tears when asked about the matter by CNN last week and declined to comment. Listen to this. Okay. So according to the police report, the alleged assault took place in the early morning hours of October 8, 2017. Hegseth spoke at a convention of the California Federation of Republican Women at the Hyatt Regency Montgomery Hotel and Spa the night before. I looked into it. Hegseth has been married 3 times, divorced twice. And from what I understand temporally, he was not married at this time because he got divorced in 2017 from his second wife, got remarried in 2019. An attorney for the city of Montgomery, which had previously shared only cursory details about its investigation, wrote that the city was releasing a redacted version of the report because it had previously released it to Hegseth in 2021. It identifies the Jane Doe. Let's go here. The records release does not include copies of video footage. Fine. Police reports description of Doe's account on the night mirrors some of the details laid out in a memo written by a friend of Doe and delivered to the Trump transition team last week, which allegedly sparked consternation among Trump advisors who were caught off guard by the allegation. I'd be shocked if that's true. I mean, I'd be shocked if nobody knew about this. I'd be shocked if Hegseth himself didn't disclose this. Doe and Hegseth, as well as this is the events of the night, and listen to this and you'll come to your own conclusions afterwards. Both Doe and Hegseth, as well as several attendees interviewed by police, told officers that the two of them went with a group to the hotel bar, Knuckles. By the way, nothing good happens after midnight. It's 10 o'clock and now it's 8 o'clock for me. After the speech, at an after party, there, a conference attendee told police that Hegseth had touched her knee and invited her to come to his hotel room. Hegseth, single man, and from what I understand of the bar scene, that's what people do at bars. Meet, hook up, and carry on with their lives. It's not stuff that I do. The attendee said she declined the invitation and, quote, gained the attention, end quote, of Doe and had her become what the report describes as a crotch blocker, hoping that Doe's presence would detour Hegseth's attempt to have sex with her. The attendee later left the bar, said Doe did not appear intoxicated when she last had contact. Okay. Another attendee told police she saw what she described as Doe and another woman flirting with Hegseth at the bar. Okay. At the time, Doe was coherent and did not seem intoxicated to the point where she would not be able to take care of her own safety. That attendee said, okay. Doe told the officers she believed Hegseth was acting inappropriately with the other women during the conference and texted someone that he, quote, was giving off a creeper vibe, according to the report. Doe later told a hospital nurse that she was not sure but believes that something may have been slipped into her drink as she cannot remember the night's events. The nurse passed that on to the police report. The report says. Report also notes Doe had been drinking much more than normal that day. Okay. Officers reviewed surveillance video from the hotel, timestamped 1:15 a.m., that showed Doe and Hegseth, quote, walking together with arms locked together, end quote, leaving the bar and heading toward the hotel pool with Doe smiling. She remembered walking out of the bar. I'll tell you, we'll skip to where it gets very interesting. Police also interviewed a hotel employee who responded to guest complaints about an argument that they heard at 1:30. Hegseth told an employee that he had the freedom of speech before he and Doe left. The employee remembered. The employee said Hegseth appeared to be heavily intoxicated. Doe, not so much. Okay, then Doe told police her next memory was the argument was being in a hotel room. After the argument was being in a hotel room with Hegseth. They had an argument. They leave hand in hand, arm in arm. She's smiling. And then they're back in his room. Tried to leave. He blocked her. She doesn't remember a lot. Next, she remembered Hegseth over on her. I'm not reading these details. They did it. Okay, skip it. You can read that. Listen to this. Doe told police she did not remember how she got back to her own hotel room, but remembered waking up in her room and getting into bed. Doe's husband, who attended the conference with her, told police he was worried when she didn't come back to their hotel room earlier that night and that she didn't return until about 4 a.m. Okay, this I think is, as far as I am concerned, like the most relevant element of all of this. She's there with her husband. She goes to a bar without her husband, is getting drunk and returning consensually to the hotel room of another man, where they do it, where it ends with fluids on the body. And then she has to go back to her husband in the hotel room and maybe now is thinking, what the hell have I just done? Doe told officers that, quote, the incident involving Hegseth did not dawn on her, end quote, until after she returned home. She went to a hospital, reported sexual assault on October 12th, where she underwent a rape kit. gave her clothes wearing the night before. A nurse at the hospital first reported the alleged assault to authorities. Hegseth, in contrast, said it was consensual. She sat down in a room and did not leave, and that she thought it was odd that she stayed in his room, according to the report. Okay, fine, then that's it. Hegseth said that Doe asked him if he had a condom, and he didn't. He said he asked her if that was a problem, and she said it wasn't. After the sex, Hegseth said he had a very clear conversation with Doe, who told him she would tell her husband she had, quote, fallen asleep on a couch in someone else's room. He told police that she showed, quote, early signs of regrets, end quote, but did not elaborate. All right. So you have two versions of events here, although you don't really even have two versions of events because no charges were laid. They entered into a settlement for reasons that I think are obvious. But the woman is at a conference, drinking without her husband, returning to somebody else's hotel room. I see from Hegseth's perspective, from a matter of like self-preservation, you're having sex with a married woman. You're doubling your risk of someone killing you, either the woman or the husband. But that is not the issue. The issue is not morality. The issue is criminality. And the issue is whether or not this has anything to do with his nomination appointment to Secretary of Defense. And between the two stories of it having been non-consensual or it having been consensual, and you have a woman waking up and saying, what the hell have I done? I've got to go back and crawl into the bed with my husband after having had sex with another man. Let's think of a story. Oh yeah, I'll fall asleep on your couch and I'll clean up and then I'll go back to my husband. So those are my thoughts on this. Ultimately, I would say I don't understand how people do these things. Even at the most charitable interpretation, I do not award this the least charitable interpretation of criminal sexual impropriety, sexual assault. But those are my 2 cents. Can't ignore the story, nor should you. I try to think of what would I think about if Hegseth was a Democrat nominee. I might not be as forgiving, although I think I'm consistent in the interpretation of these events. It's not guilty until proven innocent, and it sure as hell is not trial for sexual assault in the court of public opinion. And the bottom line is that had it not been for the Democrat systematic abuse of throwing around these accusations, one might actually lend more credence to them when they occur. But they use it not just consistently, reflexively, when they want to go after someone politically. They did it to Matt Gaetz. Don't believe it for a second. Whether or not Matt Gaetz was doing things extracurricularly that I would not do, to each their own. We're not hiring babysitters here, people. You're hiring a Secretary of Defense, someone who's going to be involved in causing the death of people. And Hegseth, to his credit, seems to have been divorced and got married later on and still married. So that is it. Those are my thoughts. No one will accuse me of not having covered it because I'm politically biased. I'm just telling you this. Oh, that's right. They also said that his white supremacy tattoo. You know, they did everything with Hegseth. In ill-qualified, white supremacist, because they don't know what it's not the Iron Cross. The cross. It's only been around in Christianity for 1,000 years. And now they dig up these 7-year-old accusations, which led to no criminal charges, much like in the case of Matt Gaetz. Okay. Let me just see something here, actually. Now I'm just with the news of Matt Gaetz, I got to go back down to the market here, Kalshi, and see who they're now predicting for goodness sake, this 2-step verification. Let's just see who they're now predicting for Secretary of Defense. Okay, we've still got what's his face? Hegseth is still over 50%. It's funny now. Todd Blanche is the leading favorite for Attorney General. Mike Lee is in number 2. Mike Davis is in number 3, and then Ken Paxton and Andrew Bailey. It's interesting. Anyways, whatever. It's wild. There's so many people in that list. Okay, let me see something here. There's a CommieTube Humble Rant. CommieTube Super Chat from Life of Brian. Gaetz withdrew. Time for 0 seats. Time for 0 seats, USA. What does that mean? Life of Brian. Tell me what that means, or at least chat. Tell me what that means. Time for 0 seats. And let's go over to Rumble, see what's going on there. And now let's go over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com before we get into it. Meanwhile, Barry is... I'm not reading that. I'm going to get canceled for... Boopsy says, Gaetz pulls out of nomination. That's the biggest news for me. What could be the plans for him now? Okay, and then we got Encryptus for visibility. This is a sad day for America, and that is Matt Gaetz's statement of withdrawal. Yeah. They will get someone good in there, but anyway, we'll talk about it on Sunday with Barnes. I'm curious to know what he thinks about it. Okay, what else is going on in the news? But no, while we're at it, because we're talking about the smear campaign by the smear merchants against Hegseth, against Matt Gaetz, and they don't stop against Tulsi Gabbard, and these people. I mean, they're such a bunch of freaking cowards because they do it knowing that they have immunity. Like Elizabeth Warren. And what's the other one? Debbie Haaland? They were never held legally responsible for their defamatory statements that led a lynch mob against Nicholas Sandmann. Immunity. They know that they can say whatever the hell they want because they have immunity, which makes them the utmost of cowards. Smear merchant cowards. Now, Tammy Duckworth is the latest one. She's a military veteran. Hold on, let me bring this up here. Tammy Duckworth is in Iraq. Oh, I think it's an Iraq war. She lost her legs. Tammy Duckworth, war injury. She lost her legs in Iraq. She lost her right leg near the hip and her left leg below the knee from injury sustained on November 12, 2004, when the UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter she was co-piloting was hit by a rocket-propelled grenade fired by Iraqi insurgents. She was the first American female double amputee from the war in Iraq. Just reading from Wikipedia. So I am inclined to have the utmost of respect for all veterans, and I don't care if say especially veterans who are injured in action, because all veterans run that risk, and it's to some extent just a minefield as to who is fortunate enough to be spared physical injuries, but they're all not spared psychological injuries. I will be forever grateful for every veteran's service. Being a veteran and being an injured veteran does not give you carte blanche to slander and defame another veteran, because Tulsi Gabbard is also a war veteran. This is the Tammy Duckworth who, on the one hand, veterans who served and are proud of their service, absolutely. Veterans who served and now don't regret, but potentially feel like they might have been exploited by their government to fight useless proxy wars, to fight useless oil wars, to fight useless regime change wars. I can say I can certainly relate to that sentiment a lot more than those who have seen the way military men and women have been used and abused by the U.S. government to wage proxy wars, to wage oil wars, and to be experimented on. So, when veterans come out and say, yeah, I fought, I gave life and limb, sacrificed, risked life and limb to fight for this country, you're damn right you're going to listen to what I have to say. And then they say, and now I realize the degree to which our government is corrupt. And would I do it again? I don't know, but I don't have faith in this government. I prefer that to, I fought, I was grievously injured, and now we should send more people to these stupid wars to get grievously injured, because that's exactly what Tammy Duckworth is promoting. This clip is from a while back, but I remember the exchange. Talking about the war in Ukraine.
So long as Ukraine needs our support, the United States should not shy away from our role as a global leader in the fight to uphold democracy and the rule of law. A world with a Ukrainian victory is a safer one, and House Republicans need to recognize that.
This is a woman who lost 2 legs in a war which was fought on a lie of a pretext. You would think that maybe she would take a step back and say, I lost parts of my body as a result of a godforsaken lie. Maybe I don't get behind the latest government war machine lie. Maybe there's reasons why she's behind it. This is a woman who's now willing to send other people to get grievously injured to fight wars that are being promoted by a government that has a history of lying so that they can enforce regime change, land grabs, oil grabs, grease the wheel of that military-industrial complex with the blood of the military men and women. No problem doing it.
So long as Ukraine needs our support, the United States should not shy away from our role as a global leader in the fight to uphold democracy and the rule of law. A world with a Ukrainian victory is a safer one, and House Republicans need to recognize that.
It's just a wildly stupid sentiment. It's a wildly stupid statement. With a Ukrainian victory, how about a negotiated peace? But she lost her legs and apparently has no qualms sending hundreds of thousands of other people off to lose theirs over a lie of a war that could have been averted from day one. Now, Tammy Duckworth, thank you for your service, Tammy, but that doesn't mean you get carte blanche to go and slander and defame in a way that is not just reckless, but actually dangerous. Because if what you're saying is true, well, there are certain very real legal consequences that would result from that. This is the same Tammy Duckworth. Tulsi Gabbard is a Putin apologist, conspiracy theorist, and friend to a Syrian dictator who gassed his own people. Assad. Gas attack. False flag. We'll get to that in a second. I'm fairly certain there's legitimate concern or legitimate dispute over what actually occurred and whether or not it was actually Assad gassing his own people for no strategically beneficial reason whatsoever. Putin apologist, conspiracy theorist, friend of a dictator who gassed his own people. Not only is she unqualified to be director of national intelligence, she's likely compromised. You know who I feel is likely compromised, Tammy? You. You know who I think is a Ukrainian apologist, maybe corrupt in the bed with Zelensky? You. You know who I think is a propagandist and a liar, putting someone's reputation and arguably their life at risk with these defamatory statements? Tammy, you. That's not someone who should be protecting our nation's secrets, says Tammy Duckworth, who's ready to send your kids off to die in Ukraine. But hey, she was grievously injured in Iraq. So, I guess that in her mind, maybe that gives her the right to slander and put at risk other veterans who served loyally as her. Nikki Haley saying the same shit. They're all that was from We're Under Siege 12. Yeah, they're all saying it. Go look at who's saying it. Unfortunately, it's the political scum of the earth that are saying it. And it's not because Tammy was grievously wounded serving in Iraq that she is not debasing herself to the political scum of the earth by making these wild, insane, debunked accusations against Tulsi Gabbard. But it started with Hillary Clinton, and I guess maybe they're all doing it for their own self-preservation. That's all I have to say about that. Let me go up here and see. The chat on Rumble. What do we got here? Tulsi is going to have trouble defending herself against the Assad bullshit since she validated the nonsense that he gassed his own people. She's going to have a tough time. This is from Mikor. I don't know what she said to validate the gassing, but if she affirmed that Assad gassed his own people, that's one heck of a thing for a friend of Assad to do. Anyhow, that's it. You know what we're going to do now, by the way? I almost forgot. Well, first of all, I almost forgot to thank our sponsor for the day. That's where I might go. That's where I get a little silly if I do the 5-minute intro and I got to do the rant video. Then I got to remember to do the sponsor. People, Rumble partner, sponsor of the day. I'm getting one of these Faraday wallets because I did a podcast yesterday with the ethical hacker over on Unusual Suspects, and I have now since gone and firmed up my digital safety. I've always had two-step authentication, but I'm getting one of those wallets, people. Do you know why? Because 60% of US adults have had their data hacked or exposed. Relying on big tech or the government for protection, that's like asking Kamala Harris to answer a question. Don't hold your breath unless you're into asphyxiation. Joke, don't do that. 5G freeze Faraday laptop and phone holders aren't just cases. They're a total signal shutdown for your devices. Slip your gear inside and you block everything: EMF, radiation, GPS, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, cellular tracking. All of it is gone. Not only does this protect your privacy, but it also keeps you safe from constant EMF exposure, which has been linked to potential health risks. With 5G free, your devices stay dark, secure, and you stay protected. Visit 5G free, the number 5G like golf, free like freedom.com. Promo code Viva for 15% off. Protect yourself and your data. 5gfree.com. Promo code Viva for 15% off. Now, get your heinies on over to either Locals. Here, I'm in YouTube here. Go to Locals. Or go to Viva Fry on the Rumble, which I shall give you the link to now. And we're going to end this on YouTube now. We're going to talk Jussie Smollett. What else is on the backdrop here? A bunch of good stuff. Jussie Smollett. Oh, yeah. And the Soros karma. It's good. Come on over to Viva Fry on Rumble. Okay, so now I go like this. Don't do the fat finger thing, Viva. Rumble and Locals update stream. Done. Excuse me, I'm choking on my own tongue here. And I'm going to go up to CommiTube, and I'm going to go to the live, and I'm going to shut it down. Shut her down manually, people. End. Okay. Let me go to the chat and see what I've missed, if anything, and then we're going to go on to the next story of the day. Tipped questions, and we got over here. Boopsie, Gaetz pulled. Oh, no, hold on. I got to refresh because I don't see it. Over on vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Tipped. Okay, we got Bill Brown, who puts up a meme, and it says, and the truth is that all veterans pay with their lives. Some pay all at once, while others pay over a lifetime. J.M. Storm. Bill Brown, who is a veteran and one of our amazing members of the vivabarneslaw.locals.com community. Just came over from YouTube, says Heartland Denizen. I've seen you. Barbisa Ariane says, I've been wearing EMF blocking clothes since the 5G towers were installed. I had my hopes up with Matt Gaetz. He has been talking some anti-corruption shit lately, says Killa Gorilla. And then we got Corn Macabre says, Viva, I highly recommend you and everyone in the chat check out a new documentary on HBO Max called Surveilled. It's about the Pegasus software being used to spy on us. Very interesting. Oh, yeah. No, dude. It's like the other thing is like we're all live your life as though every the dirtiest of your dirty secrets can come to light every day of the week, and you will lead a much cleaner life. Real French says, Viva, how's life in the good old USA? It's beautiful. I mean, it's Florida. The only problem in Florida is it's hot and it's endless summer. So I have no idea what month it is, which messes up my it's you're entering winter now. It's November. It's cold. It's dark. It's depressing up in Canada. December 21st is the shortest day of the year. You're a month away from that. Here, sunsets at 5:30. Beautiful every day. It's the perfect weather for convertibles now because summer's too hot. So I took the top off the Bronco and have been driving that around. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Canada misses you, Viva, says Real Fringe. I can say that I miss elements of Canada. What I do not miss of Canada is the politics and the sycophants who have ratified and still support that awful, awful Trudeau regime, that awful, awful Jagmeet Singh regime, the corruption, and the Canadians who still think that the truckers were their enemies. I don't miss that. And it's very sad. All right. Jussie Smollett, people. Jussie Smollett is walking. He had already been let out pending appeal, which I had to go back and check my digital footprint on that because I don't think I said it's corruption when he got let out of jail, and it's narcissism as he's like leaving jail, screaming like talking about the Holocaust, talking about Ukraine. His protest as he was given appeal, release pending appeal, I said was like the evidence of his deep-rooted narcissism. But I don't think I would have been offended at him being released pending his appeal for the very same reasons I was offended at Steve Bannon not being released pending his appeal. I appreciate, I think he should go to jail. I don't agree with this Illinois Supreme Court decision. It's not the Supreme Court of the United States, but Illinois. I don't agree with the decision, but I do agree with people being released pending their appeal when they have a bona fide appeal, especially when they will have served their time by the time the appeal comes down. So if I actually said he deserves to be in jail pending appeal, I would be shocked, and I don't think I said that. I am not shocked, but I'm not even surprised. I mean, it's par for the course. He was released, and the basis for his release is actually amazing. There was a Fox News article on it, and then there was the shorter one here. Jussie Smollett, conviction reversed by Illinois Supreme Court. Now, I don't need to go into the details thoroughly. Get that ad out of there. We don't need to go into the details. We all remember it. Jussie Smollett. Let me just take that out. Jussie Smollett faked a fake hate crime on himself, which he still insists to this day was perpetrated by white MAGA Republicans, even though it was perpetrated by two very black and not white and not MAGA men from Nigeria. And why is that relevant? That there were discussions that the men might have been gay, which is a crime punishable by death in Nigeria. So not only was Jussie Smollett not attacked by two white MAGA people at 2:00 in the morning in Chicago, they were Nigerian black men who apparently put makeup on to look white and staged this entire thing from beginning to end. They allegedly tied a rope around Jussie Smollett's neck, which he left on his neck when the cops came, and said he was going out at 2 a.m. to get a Subway sandwich. And then two MAGA men approached him and said, "This is MAGA country," and poured a liquid on his face and tied a noose around his neck. Yeah. The two, what were their names? I forget the names of the Osundairo brothers. The white MAGA supporters were Nigerian Osundairo brothers. Okay. Bodybuilders also. Okay. I think it was Kim Fox, the DA or the AG, whatever, no, district DA, struck an agreement with Jussie where they released him and dropped the charges in exchange for a $10,000 bond, and Jussie Smollett could proclaim his innocence. Special prosecutor was brought in who brought back the charges and said, no, corrupt dropping of the charges, we're bringing them back. And Jussie Smollett said, you can't do that, double jeopardy. Oh yeah, and he paid them too, sorry. He paid them too, thousands of dollars. He actually paid them. That evidence is out there. The bottom line is everybody knows Jussie's guilty. The bottom line, he's walking because he's going to get away with that agreement that he had with corrupt. Is it Kim Fox? Let me just make sure about that. Kim Fox, Jussie Smollett. I'm pretty sure it's Kim Fox. Just get mixed up with all of the. Yeah, it's Kim Fox. With all of the corruption, I get mixed up between the DA in Missouri, the DA in New York, the DA in Illinois. I mean, it's like the corruption is just everywhere. So he's walking free now, but not because of double jeopardy. From what I understand, the Illinois court came down and said, yeah, double jeopardy doesn't attach because there was no jury impaneled. And so there was never jeopardy attached to the charges. But he's walking because of a principle, which from what I understand is basically like detrimental reliance. They had an agreement. And but for that agreement, Jussie Smollett would not have agreed to have given up his $10,000 bond. And now subsequent prosecutors must respect that agreement. You must respect my authority and my agreement. Okay, so that's what I understand as being the rationale behind this reversal. Jussie Smollett, conviction reversed by Illinois Supreme Court, unanimous from what I understand. Okay, it was reversed. The former Empire actor was convicted on charges that he staged a racist and homophobic attack against himself in Chicago 2019 and he lied to police. Okay, he initially appealed his disorderly conduct conviction to the state's highest court in September. Thursday's ruling from the Illinois Supreme Court read in part, today we resolve a question about the state's responsibility to honor agreements it makes with the defendant, not double jeopardy. Did he have basically a binding contract with the state such that he could rely on that binding contract to them not bringing charges against him? Specifically, we address whether a dismissal of a case by nolle prosequi, not prosecuting, allows the state to bring a second prosecution when the dismissal was entered as part of an agreement with the defendant and the defendant has performed part of his bargain. You remember what that was? We hold that the second prosecution under these circumstances is a due process violation, and we therefore reverse the defendant's conviction. Do you remember what his bargain was? He performed his end of the bargain. He forfeited a $10,000 bond, and he allegedly did community service, which from my understanding, if I'm not remembering it badly, he had already performed. So his end of the agreement was giving up $10,000, although he's paid a lot more than that in defense fees, and community service that he already did. Okay, we saw that. He was accused of staging the hoax. Kim Foxx dropped the charges against him. We got all this. Following that, special prosecutor investigated. He was put on trial, found guilty of five counts of disorderly conduct, sentenced to 150 days, 6 of which he served before he was freed pending appeal. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. Oh, 30 months of probation in order to pay $130,000 in restitution for the costs of the city's investigation into his bullshit hoax. His attorney said he was the victim of double jeopardy. And then we got who's Karen Conti explained the crux of his argument when Kim Foxx cut the deal with him, whereby we would do community service and sacrifice his bond money. That was a deal and it should have been honored, Conti said. The special prosecutor brought charges again that violated double jeopardy clause. That's not what they ruled here in this case. And even if didn't technically violate due process and double jeopardy clause, it was unfair to cut a deal and then prosecute him again. 32-page decision, which you can go watch a full breakdown on uncivil law. He explained the court's decision to reverse the conviction. I'll do a summary of it in my car later on, but for right now, I'm just going to break it down. It wasn't a double jeopardy violation. It was a due process as a result of, what's the word? Not professional reliance, but detrimental reliance. We are aware that the case has generated significant public interest and many were dissatisfied with the resolution, yada, yada. Justice Elizabeth Rochefort, Rockford, wrote in the 5-0 decision, nevertheless, what would be more unjust than the resolution of any one criminal case would be a holding from this court that the state was not bound to honor agreements upon which people have detrimentally relied. Illinois Supreme Court Chief Justice Mary Jane Thies and Justice Joy Cunningham took no part in Thursday's decision. So that's it. I can understand it. I never put stock in the double jeopardy argument for the reasons, as far as I understood double jeopardy. Jeopardy never attached. Now we just got detrimental reliance. Had we not had that agreement, I would not have forfeited my $10,000 bond. Therefore, you must respect that agreement. 5-0, they must respect the agreement. It's not an unreasonable decision. It's just crap. All right, that's that. Oh, man. Okay, let me see what we got going on here. When the authorities fail to provide justice, I'm not reading that, Jacob Castro, but no, look, the bottom line is it's an amazing thing. A corrupt agreement has been honored. Okay, fine. Well, speaking of corruption, let me remember about this. Oh, yes, speaking of corruption. If you haven't heard, the karma of the day. The assistant for the district attorney, Alvin Bragg, was robbed by an illegal alien in her apartment building in New York. I call it, I don't, this is not Schadenfreude. You know what? Hold on, let me back it up. This is close to Schadenfreude because this is, she's going to walk away from this. Nobody got hurt. She got robbed. So she'll get over that. And it reminds me now of the, I forget who said it, but everyone's a liberal until they get mugged. And it seems that that's the lesson that people in New York are needing to learn these days. Everyone's a progressive until they get robbed by an illegal alien who is illegally in the country as a result of their progressive policies. So yeah, there's a part of me, insofar as the consequences of this are not grievous bodily harm, death, injury, but someone may be learning a lesson that takes a little bit of pleasure, a little bit of sick Schadenfreude, feels there's a little bit of cosmic karma in this story. Listen to this. Here we go. New York Post. Venezuelan migrant, illegal alien with ties to Tren de Aragua, busted in sick robbery of New York City prosecutor. Is this it? After she caught him masturbating in her home. Okay, these are more details than I read in the other article. Is this what you do? Like after you get so hard robbing someone, you whack off in their apartment? Those are the boys that were whacking off in my shed. Off in the shed in which they were whacking. A Venezuelan migrant with links to, I have to look up what Tren Agua is if they don't tell us. It's Tren de Agua, has been arrested for allegedly robbing one of Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's prosecutors in her apartment building. Okay, I didn't think it was in her apartment. After she busted him masturbating. And he looks very happy. I guess it was a good one. Hold on. I can't, what is Tren de Agua? Like, how do they just assume that we know what that is? Tren de Agua is a transitional criminal organization, transnational criminal organization from Venezuela. Oh, well, then I guess Kamala Harris has prosecuted them. I mean, she's known for prosecuting transnational criminal organizations. Brandon Somoza, 25, who has apparent ties to the vicious prison gang, was nabbed outside the Row Hotel migrant shelter in Midtown Manhattan Tuesday night over the sick ordeal, the sources said. He's accused of robbing the 38-year-old assistant district attorney when she arrived home to her 44th Street pad at about 2 a.m. Sunday, and busted him midway through the lewd act in the building's hallway. What the fuck? Somoza allegedly fled with the prosecutor's phone after she dropped it the moment, the sources said. The phone was later traced to the vicinity of the migrant shelter, according to sources. Somoza, he was hit with a slew of charges, including sexually motivated robbery. Okay, what the hell is sexually motivated robbery, people? Grand larceny, criminal possession with stolen property, spotted smirking as he was hauled away in handcuffs. He'll be out on bail by the end of the day. Jan 6ers are still in jail. It wasn't immediately clear when Somoza arrived in the Big Apple or where he'd been living. At one point, his address was listed as the city's taxpayer-funded migrant shelter. He legally crossed into the U.S. at the Eagle Pass, Texas in October 2023. Federal law enforcement says he was taken into custody by U.S. patrol agents at the time, but later cut loose with a notice to appear before an immigration judge in New York City, the federal authorities said. It's unbelievable. Decision left Somoza without any pending immigration applications, meaning he was no longer being actively pursued for deportation. But during his time in the Big Apple, he racked up hefty rap sheet. 6 bucks. How the hell did he get all of these and was not deported? Somoza racked up a hefty rap sheet. 6 busts in the last 5 months alone, police sources say, though due to the city's sanctuary status, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement wouldn't have been alerted to the arrests by local authorities. They deserve it. I mean, I'm glad she wasn't physically harmed. She deserves this. There's no other way to say it. You turn your city into a shithole sanctuary city for illegal aliens, criminal illegal aliens. You arrest them for being criminal illegal aliens, but you don't notify ICE to have the criminal illegal aliens deported. And then they rob George Soros-funded Alvin Bragg's assistant district attorney. He was picked up last week for grand larceny, criminal mischief in Manhattan, then cut loose, sources say. He was also arrested for a string of grand larceny, robbery, transit evasions incidents. The migrant had been due to face a Queens court on Thursday after taking a guilty plea in the earlier cases. The Manhattan DA's office did not immediately respond to a request for comment. No shit, Sherlock. I wonder why. By the way, George Soros funded Alvin Bragg's assistant DA or whatever her title was. George Soros funded. They enact policies that get people raped, murdered, and killed. This woman's lucky. All that she saw was a dude whacking it and taking her phone afterwards. She's a lucky one. The Lake and Rileys of America are not so lucky. They brought this in. They've ushered this in. They've implemented it, and it's funded by George Soros. And it's so amazing, by the way. Where do I even start with this? Look at this. Glenn Kessler. Who does he? Does he still work for the Washington Post? Glenn.Kessler at WashingtonPost.com. New fact check. The incendiary claim that George Soros funds Alvin Bragg. This Glenn Kessler, with a straight face and purported journalistic integrity, debunked the claim. We'll get there in a second. Listen to this. Readers added context. Soros donated $1 million to the Color of Change Political Action Committee, the largest individual donation it received in 2020 election cycle, days after it endorsed Bragg for district attorney and pledged more than $1 million in spending to support his candidacy. And the candidacy. That sounds weird, that word. We got to read the article. It's going to blow your freaking mind. The degree I wonder why the Washington Post is looking for, conservative or AKA honest journalists. I'm not going to get there. I'll go to another fact check that fact checks the fact check to get the highlights. Oh, by the way, he gave it 4 Pinocchios. Which one do I want to take here? Let's go with, do I have it on archive? I have it on archive. Okay, I forgot I did that. The incendiary claim that George Soros funded Alvin Bragg. Kevin Kessler, listen to this. Go down here, yada, yada, yada. From the moment it appeared Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg would indict Trump after hearing the evidence in his role in the hush money, it has been suggested that he's operating at the direction of liberal billionaire George Soros, who he claimed had given more than $1 million to Bragg. The theme picked up that. But the intense focus on Soros is misplaced. Soros never directly funded Bragg. What a, can I swear, what a fucking idiot Kessler is. But you're a liar. You're an absolute disgusting, shameless liar. How do you think corruption works? Oh, George Soros never directly handed the money to Alvin Bragg. Idiot. Idiot who should be out of a job. Instead contributing to a group that supported Bragg. I'm sorry, are you debunking this or are you confirming it? You raging liar. He instead contributed to a group that supported Bragg and other liberal candidates. Moreover, the repeated mention of Soros plays into an anti-Semitic stereotype. Kessler, I happen to have had family members who are named Kessler, so I can assume that you're Jewish. Let me just see. Well, Glenn Kessler. While lying through his teeth and invoking anti-Semitism, Glenn Kessler, Wikipedia. If you go to Wikipedia, for whatever you don't like about it, it'll tell you if someone's Jewish. Let me just go here. I got to go to early. Typically, it's in early life where they put it. Maybe Kessler's not Jewish. I had cousins named Kessler. Hey, dude, why can't I find it? Hold on. Glenn Kessler. Kessler has German and Ashkenazi Jewish origins, but the guy who planned last year's Unite the Right does not. Glenn Kessler, Jewish heritage, but found the last names. Yeah, all right, good. Incidental. But where we were at anti-Semitism. Yes, anti-Semitism. Yeah. Moreover, the repeated mention of Soros played into anti-Semitic conspiracy theories that Soros, a Hungarian-American Holocaust survivor, the Anti-Defamation League in 2018, Soros figures the Anti-Defamation League found in 2018 that Soros figures in a significant number of anti-Semitic tweets. I don't care if that's true. The fact is he's doing it. And if it leads to anti-Semitic stereotypes, maybe the likes of Soros should behave differently. But the accusation is not false or anti-Semitic because Soros happens to be Jewish. Unfortunately, the accusation might be accurate. The facts. Soros has been a boogeyman for conservatives ever since blah, blah, blah. Soros supports candidates through occasional direct contributions, but mainly through his democracy PAC. Oh, okay. Soros has a particular interest in funding efforts to overhaul the U.S. criminal justice system, such as who gives a shit. Bragg, who is in 2020 narrowly won the Democrat Party against a much better funded candidate, would be the type of prosecutor favored by Soros. He never made a contribution to Bragg, though New York State election records show Soros' son and daughter-in-law each contributed a little more than $10,000. Soros Democracy PAC also made his children's direct. He gave $1 million to Color of Change the day after they announced it and pledged more, and they went on to contribute to his campaign. My goodness. On May 14th, Soros sent $1 million to Color of Change. While it appears like careful coordination, both Soros and Color of Change say the two events are unrelated. Oh, okay. Don't trust your lying eyes, people. While it appears to have occurred in contemporaneous temporal order of act, promise, and donation, the liars say that it's unrelated. Color of Change says it makes decisions on whom to endorse without inputs for donors. They got the money after they said it. In any case, Color of Change never met the $1 million goal. Let me see. Does he actually give it? The Pinocchio test. Republicans are being slippery here. Oh, no, they're not. Kessler, you're being slippery here. Claiming Soros funded Bragg is simply false, but many rely on the more ambiguous phrase backed, which is technically correct by several degrees of separation. No, just one. In fact, just one, and not even one. His children, 20,000 total, and him, 1 degree. The incendiary focus on Soros raises more difficult questions, given the tenuous connection between Soros and Bragg. Tenuous, you idiot. It's a dangerous game that plays into stereotypes of rich Jewish financiers secretly controlling events. You know what plays into the stereotype of rich Jewish financiers secretly controlling events? Rich Jewish financiers secretly contributing to control events. That's kind of what plays into the stereotype, you dumbasses. Oh my goodness, 3 Pinocchios. He didn't give it 4 Pinocchios. He gave it 3 Pinocchios. I don't even think we need to go into the fact check of that fact check. It's so patently absurd on its face. It's a bloody sick joke is what it is. Oh, but I still think, is Glenn, there's no way that Glenn Kessler is not Jewish himself. Hold on. Glenn Kessler, American writer. Not that it matters at all, because either way it's absurd, but it's either self-serving or Well, anybody who knows, I'll look at our locals community. Locals, not that it matters. Just curious. Okay, so that's that. Do we bring up the fact check? Because there were 2 fact checks on it. Doesn't matter. But now I'm seeing a lot of Hrumble rants over on the Hrumbles, which I should read right now with vigor. G. Fontes says they mispronounced that Kamala protected international criminal organizations instead of the word prosecuted. Effing Democrats, says G. Fontes 119. Soaring Eagle, $50. Thank you very much. Donation towards the doggy door. We are not answering that. We are going to do that, and we have to redo the cabinetry in the kitchen and the stove. My wife, since we've moved in, has hated the stove. I'm not saying like my wife. I hate the stove. The stove, you accidentally rub your fingers over it or pieces of metal. It's like one of those, not a kinetic one, but it's got buttons that automatically turn on unwittingly. You drop a piece of water on it, it'll turn the stove on. And we're in the kitchen the other day, and like my wife's like, I smell skunk. I smell skunk too. And we look, and like the scissors are melting on the element because accidentally we turned the element on. So thank you very much. One way or the other, that Hrumble rant will go to a good cause. If that good cause is only a doggy door. King of Biltong is in the house. He says, add Biltong to your stocking stuffers this season. High protein gifts packed with B12, zinc, iron, creatine, and more. Grab some at BiltongUSA.com. Biltong, BILTONG USA.com. It's South African beef jerky. It's like prosciutto made out of beef. Viva 10 for 10% off. We have dried fruit. That's not an ad, by the way. That's a Hrumble rant. King of Biltong says we stream Friday and Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. Shit talking whilst cooking real food. Follow our channel. Eat at Anton's or the link in there. And then we got G. Fontes 119 back in there. Says anti-sociopath could care less that Soros is a Jew. Oh, do you get in trouble if you spell it Jew? That helped the Nazis in World War II to stack dead bodies and collect any property of value, including gold teeth. I could almost forgive. I wouldn't hold it against what a 13-year-old kid does to survive Holocaust. I don't hold that against Soros. And some people think that that's wrong. I don't know what I would do as a 13-year-old boy in any time of war. And I also believe it broke him for life. I mean, that man, I believe, has had the emotive part of his spirit turned off. Probably a defense mechanism. Doesn't mean I'm going to forgive him for what he's doing now. He is gleefully funding the destruction of America and the world, for that matter. And he's proud and drunk off the power that comes with it. He happens to be Jewish. I don't think he's doing it in the name of Judaism. I actually think he's quite, ironically enough, funding organizations that are vehemently anti-Semitic in the real way and anti-Israel, at least in a policy way. He's not doing it because he's Jewish, but he certainly is Jewish, and he's certainly doing it. And unfortunately, there is statistical overrepresentation of people who happen to be Jewish partaking in socially destructive behavior at the political legal scale. You can't argue with that. You can't call someone anti-Semitic for making that matter-of-fact observation. And you sure as hell can't call them anti-Semitic to avoid having to deal with it. It's not anti-Semitic to say that George Soros is funding Alvin Bragg to subvert justice and democracy in America. He is. And it's not anti-Semitic to say that Arthur Engelron is also doing the same thing. It's not anti-Semitic to say that E. Jean Carroll is doing the same thing, that her attorney, Kaplan, is helping her do the same thing, that the judge in that case, Kaplan, is doing the same thing. You don't get to call someone a Russian propagandist to cancel their appointment, and you don't get to call someone an anti-Semite for noticing matters of fact. He grew up in communist Hungary too, says Drakovic. So those are my 2 cents on that. Soros destroying countries from what he learned in World War II. Change my mind, says Crash Bandit. Can't change. Dude, the guy's got a God complex. I think I forget what he said in one of the interviews, but he's got quite clearly a God complex. And I sincerely believe that the empathetic element of his brain, the development was stunted in a traumatizing to a dysfunctional way. Doesn't mean you get to forgive him for what he does later in life. Broken or not, he's an adult and he needs to be held responsible for his actions as an adult. Hurt people. That doesn't mean that you don't lock up the hurt people that hurt people when they become adults. Hold on, we got Heartland Denizen. Let me see, I'm bringing this up. Yeah, a 13-year-old probably should not be held morally responsible for his conduct. See, we live in a world right now where I don't know if that's like intended to be sarcasm to insult me. I know I've seen you, Heartline. I know I don't think it is because I've seen you and I know that you're sincere. 13 years old. Like, your brain is not developed at 13 years old. The shit that I did when I was a 13-year-old kid, it's you'd call it mentally challenged. You would say that, oh my God, what the hell were you thinking? What? One day I will tell the stories of my childhood. If you want it to happen, you got to get me on Joe Rogan. One day you'll say, like, A, Viva, how the hell are you still alive? B, Viva, how the hell are you not in jail? And what was I on, 3 or C? And C, Viva, what the hell were you thinking? The answer is was not thinking when we did the things that we were doing between the age of, let's say, 12 and 16. Okay. And that's all I have to say. Look at this. She just came in and closed the door, and now the dog wants to go out. The doggy door is coming, people. Get her out. Get out. You know what I just realized? Maybe it's Pudge's way of preventing me from getting... Hold on. God damn it. Ow! Shite. Maybe it's the Pudge's way of like preventing me from getting deep vein thrombosis. Like, she can smell something that I need to move. I need to stretch my legs every 30 minutes. So, she's it's like, it'll be so crazy. Like, I don't know it. Nobody knows it. The dog smells deep vein thrombosis in the sky. It's like, Viva's got to get up now. I got to make him get to the door. He's going to hate me for it. That's true heroism. The dog driving me crazy, but inadvertently and to her knowledge, in her canine super knowledge, saving my life. Array 9, me too, 13 to 16 were my worst years. Mine were basically 10 to 16. Yeah, mine were basically 10 or 11 to 16. And then and then a switch hit. It was mostly when I got out of high school. Yeah, it was when I got out of high school, went to what we call CEGEP in Quebec, in Canada. Sefradine Squib says 12 to 16. Yes, at 16 the record is an adult and permanent. I too took advantage of that, dude. One day. But maybe the stories are not as crazy as I think they are. But okay, we got Gray 101 over in Local says, why is Trump letting Rep Gaetz be forced to resign just like he abandoned Lieutenant General Flynn? I think that they had to have discussed that before Gaetz made that decision. So I can only assume they're both on board with it, and there is some broader pattern here, but maybe that's just my own motivated reasoning, wanting to explain away what I would otherwise argue is corruption or cowardice if the political letters were reversed. Pasha Moyer says, you can say, what the heck were you thinking? Or perhaps, what the heck were you thinking? See, they cooking smoke bombs in the kitchen, and then running around Halloween, putting smoke bombs in people's pumpkins, saltpeter, maybe I shouldn't, putting smoke bombs into people's pumpkins, and then running away and watching flames shooting out of the pumpkin's eyes because it was amazing. Everyone enjoyed it, even the people who thought the world was coming to an end. But that's the type of stuff that today you'd get arrested for, like improvised IEDs. I don't know, crazy. What else do we have? Anything else here? Hold on a second. I know that we did. I will save the Pennsylvania discussion for the Locals after party. And there's a tweet from Ron Coleman who's covering this, and I've got some insider knowledge with Ron Coleman. I've DM'd him and he responded, so I've got some stuff going on there. Let's take a little bit of the chat before we come on over to V. It's gonna be supporters only. Pretty much. I haven't put out the audio podcast of any stream this week. Okay, I'll put it out afterwards. Come on, it's going to be for supporters only on Locals. So let me go to the chat here to see what's going on. Ord Avaje, officer safety is corporate protocol, precedent, access, entitlement. Okay, I don't know what that is. I came into a discussion here. Did I just see on the bottom? Fireworks in cattle turds, says Matto. Well, at least if you're putting it in cattle turds, you're in open areas and you're not going to do any damage. Works bombs in mailboxes, anyone? We used to blow up figures with fireworks. LOL, Dracovish. In Quebec, we used to be able to get firecrackers in Chinatown. Then at some point it became like it was always sort of under the table, but at some point it became much harder to get the firecrackers in Chinatown. They were so good. And then little firecrackers, nothing that could blow your hand off all the way. Oh my goodness, that's what we used to do. Get the firecrackers and then stuff them into things and then blow them up, like pen cases, pen caps. And then we discovered physics as kids, that the firecracker, when it's not constrained by something that's holding it in, would make a pop. Stick it into a Bic pen cap and it would make a much louder pop. Meanwhile, my kid now is learning Arduino. Yeah, M80s in coffee cans, says Don Darker 86. We never had access to those M80s in Canada. We could get firecrackers, but fireworks would be like Roman candles, things like that. And Matt Toast says the 90s were great. The 90s were great. They were, especially in Canada, because we never had to worry about, reasonably worry about neighbors with guns who would shoot you if you ran through their backyards or, smash their pumpkins. And I don't say that necessarily, I don't say that judgmentally. It's smashing people's pumpkins. You shouldn't get shot for that, but messing around with people's property is where there are strong Second Amendment rights exercised. You are playing roulette with a machine that you might not like the prizes it dispenses. Okay, so get your butts on over to Locals if you're going to come. Locals, here's the link. And if you're not going to come, I will be live tomorrow. I don't know what the schedule is going to be. Trying to get live at 12:30, and that's it. Did I miss anything here? Did I miss any? I'll get the tipped questions on vivabarneslaw.locals.com before we head on over. Okay, I think I got all of them, actually. Hold on. I did a lot of stupid things, says Munnin Watchin, and don't regret any of it. It's a couple things I regret. I'm not even sure I would ever talk about those. I never caused physical harm to a person. But there's a couple of things I deeply regret. Tip questions here. Okay, we got them all. So we're going to end, and it's going to go over to Locals for the after party. If you're not coming, I'll leave the chat open on Rumble. Before you leave, Rumble, there are 3,970 people watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, make sure that you're subscribed. And even, CommieTube is good for some stuff. So, spread the word there because it allows us to drive more people over to the free speech Rumble. Let me see something here. I'm singing the song. Okay, do it. Come on over. I'll see you there, Locals. I'm coming right now. And if not, I will see all of you later this afternoon. Definitely tomorrow. Catch you on the flip side. Dude Meisters, 30 seconds to go here. Let's go to the chat. No, let's tease everybody with what we're going to talk about. Oh, yes. Pennsylvania. The recount is starting. The results are trickling in. And the results thus far, let me just see how far I could stretch this out. The results thus far are shocking. You won't believe what the results are, and you'll have to come on over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Just kidding. The results are not shocking, but it looks like... So Ron Coleman is on the site, and it's wild. He's like driving from county to county to do the recount, the manual recount. This was the late one. Do I refresh this and see if it's updated? No, this is an archive link, so it'll never update, I guess. Pennsylvania Senate race recount. The Associated Press is called the Senate seat for the Republicans, which is a flip. But it was less than 1% differential. And shut. Holy cows. The kid. Okay, sorry. This is what we do at the Locals after. We're going to come back to that story in a second. Look at this. Let me just make sure I'm not going to give any access to information. Look at this. Look what my kid just found. I think he saved it. I think he saved it from the street. Hold on 1 second. Ethan, did you save the turtle from the street? Yeah. You want to tell the world? Okay, hold on.
I picked it up.
Okay, hold on. We don't need to know the name of the street. You want to say hi or no? Yeah. Okay, tell him here. Tell him what happened with the turtle.
There was a turtle on the side of the road, so we picked it up.
Did mom pulled over?
Yeah.
Were you driving the cool car or not the cool car? Not the cool car? You drove the cool car? You take the top down? Okay, so what kind of turtle was it?
It was a cooter.
It was a cooter turtle. How big was it? It was easily 5 pounds. And then where did you put it?
No, it was 3.
3 pounds? You weighed it?
No.
Hold on. Okay, get out, go. Close the door. Thank you. Saved a cooter turtle. Cooters are not invasive, and they're not tortoises. Okay, get out and close the door. That's my boy. Saved a turtle. Damn turtles. At least he didn't bring it home. Jeez, that was a big ass turtle. That would. There's no room for that here. All right, back to Pennsylvania, people. Recount underway. Okay, in Pennsylvania Senate race, which saw Democrat Senator Bob Casey face off. This is the one where the ballot counters openly said they're going to count illegal ballots, which came in, I think, after the deadline. And they said, well, fuck, like trying to do the moral relativism. Well, if the Republicans are going to break the law and the Supreme Court's going to defy the law and all this, we're going to do it too. To hell you are. Initial count placed McCormick narrowly ahead by 0.2%. Okay, 48.8 to 48.6. It led the Associated Press to call the race. Okay. McCormick declared victory, but Casey has not conceded, and a recount mandated by the state for contests within 0.5% of the vote began on Wednesday. All right, let's see here. Okay, according to CBS, McCormick had taken a lead over Casey in the recount of 29,000 votes across all 67 counties. Each county is required to complete the recount by noon, November 27, with the results to be announced the following day. Jesus. The election happened on November 5th. Local network, yada, yada, reported to this. Several counties have already completed their recounts with only 6 out of 50,000 votes having changed overall. This has not been independently confirmed by Newsweek. Don't worry, we got independent confirmation coming from our boy, Ron Coleman. The campaign of both Senator Bob Casey and Dave McCormick were contacted for comments. Okay, fine. Wednesday. Do I care about this? Oh, here we go. Here, listen to this. On Wednesday, in a post on X, Elizabeth Gregory, McCormick's spokesperson, commented, Senator-elect McCormick's lead is too big for the charade to make any difference, but Senator Casey is forcing Pennsylvania to spend more taxpayer money. It's that close recount. Speaking to the news, he says, we have a legal requirement to run all the ballots through different scanners, high-speed scanners, than they were run through on election day. Referring to election workers, Hartwick added, they didn't anticipate it being here again, strapped to a recount, but the dedicated public servants are oftentimes the ones who are most criticized. Yeah, 0.5%, obviously there's a recount. If the Democrats were saying there's a difference of 0.2% and we're not doing a recount, you're damn right I'd be flipping my lid and saying, what the hell are you doing? But according to Ron Coleman, the recount in one county is over. And I love Ron. So this is Ron Coleman. If you don't know him, well, we all know him. Orthodox Jew, political conservative, Mr. The hell is Jane B. Coleman, lawyer, civil, okay, whatever. It's Ron Coleman. Not, there's another, no, that's Ron Perlman. Not to be confused with Ron Perlman. Okay. Ron Coleman says recount is over in Columbus County. Official results will be posted later, but there were about 150 additional votes adjudicated for Casey and over 200 for McCormick. Time to go. Oh, and you can't see what it says, to the next county. So Coleman is running from county to county. And just to confirm what, let me just make sure I'm not showing my DMs right now. I'm not. Okay. To confirm what Coleman told me or confirmed to me in DM is, I said, so you're going county to county to do the recount. We don't get the final results yet, but it looks good for GOP. Well, I mean, that was the gist of the more of an increase than the other guy, the Democrat, but also Coleman is going county to county to supervise or get involved legally, I presume, with the recount. So go check out Ron Coleman, and that's phenomenal stuff. Okay, good. Let us go to all questions, and then I'll refresh and go to the side here. Okay, so on the side, on the comment side, Christy Means, we got, please cover the illegal purchase by George Soros company buying the 211 radio stations. I mean, I look, what can I add? The FCC, is it the FCC? Yeah, Federal Communications Commission. They bypassed the rules and authorized what would otherwise be, as far as I understand, an unlawful monopoly purchase. He was given a pass to go around the checkpoints of the law, requiring foreign entities buying a certain percentage of media to go through hearings. Biden administration greenlit this already during the summer. My local Los Angeles AM radio station laid off almost all of the news team. The program director resigned. That we know why. I suspect we think we know why he wanted to do it, but the election's over and Trump kicked ass. Janet, in respect of Syria. Like, I don't understand what her problem is. She's gotten so flipping annoying. She never did that until like 3 months ago. And now she's like, the door closes, she wants out. The door closes, she wants in. Assad didn't gas his own people. The rebel forces did. Syria, backed by the U.S., are the Muslim Brotherhood, who use human shields, as does Hamas. A little research into the history of Assad and his father proves the decades in which they have fought off the Muslim Brotherhood. Then he asked Obama for help. Obama not only rejected his request, he actively tried to thwart his leadership by training, quote, rebel forces, end quote, in Syria. Once again, those rebel forces are, in fact, the Muslim Brotherhood. Then Obama conveniently transferred weapons from Libya via Benghazi through Turkey to rebel forces in Syria. Don't believe me? Go watch the hearings in which Hillary testified. Then go watch the interview with Greta Van Susteren. She provably lied to Congress, specifically Rand Paul's question, by answering Greta's question, in which she contrasted her remarks in Congress. Assad is a moderate leader who believes in religious freedoms, allowing some of the oldest Christian communities, the Coptic Christians, to not only live there, but thrive. Everything pushed by the media and the government about Assad are lies. Obama tried to do Assad what he did to Gaddafi, have him assassinated. Assad was smarter and saw what was happening with the Arab Spring, which Obama started with his address to the university in Egypt. Tucker is one of the very few who have actually reported on this issue with facts. Janet, that sounds very plausible. Assad is not good in any way, but he's definitely not the worst, says Svihansis. I mean, they're all I don't think Putin's good. But I mean, I believe what they say about Putin. And the people who are saying it about him are just as bad, I think. Not sure that a recount will make a difference because the envelopes are critical to determine possible cheating. Once the ballots are separate from the envelopes, how do you tell which ballots are valid? Seems like the entire state's votes count should be voided and redo the election that is in doubt. Do it with all manual ballots and close scrutiny of all counting when they are finished, says Nimrod. Greta Van Susteren, is she still on? Well, I thought it was Greta Van Thunberg. Svihansis says, I think that would be a good topic to raise with Dr. Mordechai Kadar. Well, Svihansis, I'll tell you who I did DM yesterday. Mordechai Kadar. So I DM'd him on Twitter. I have not yet heard. Okay. Let's go back to the... let's go up here and see. There was something... Sad is not good anyway. There was something that I was going to say. There was, oh yeah, here we go. It's Svihansis archive. What's the archive here? November 21. What am I looking at here? I'm going to bring this up. I don't know what it is. Oh, it's from the government. It's from the Canadian government. Okay, it's Svihansis here. More in your pocket, a tax break. Let's see this here. Oh, well, then they think election's coming. Let's see this. This is from Government of Canada. The past years have been challenging. It feels like the price of everything has gone up. Yeah, it has. And while inflation is cooling and interest rates are dropping, we know that Canadians aren't feeling that in their household budgets yet. Our government can't set prices at the checkout, but we can give Canadians more money in their pocket. Where does the money come from? To help them to get the things on. Starting December 14, 2024, we're giving a tax break to all Canadians with a GST, HST exemption across the country. Canadians will be able to buy essentials like groceries, snacks, all tax-free. What a bunch of fucking scumbags. The new tax break will apply to prepared foods, restaurant meals, dine-in, takeouts, beer. I mean, it's good. They're buying votes in light of an upcoming election. It's projected to last until February 15, 2025. By making essentially all food GST free, this will deliver meaningful savings. What a bunch of scumbags. It's like Biden, cancel student debt right into the election. That's an easy way to buy votes with young, dumb voters who will just see a little bit of cash and say, take my vote. Never forget, never forgive, hold the line. Just got here. Is Barnes going to make it? Jamek, no, Barnes is on for Sunday. He's doing better. He was on with Barris this Monday, and I'm not sure where else he's been since then, but he's doing better. So I don't know if the prayers worked, but the proximity of events and causality seems to be correlating right now. SB Farmer 8 says, so do all the Dems have to do is create a distraction and appointees will quit. So all the Dems have to do is create a distraction and all appointees will quit. Okay, I'm not sure about that. All mail-in drop-off ballots should have a code to connect the ballot and envelope. If they choose to vote that way, you lose anonymity. That's Spinnaker. Hyphen says, Viva, I'm calling an election in Canada for the summer. Yeah, it's got to be towards the end. It's got to be towards the end of 2025 in order for scumbag McGee, Jagmeet Singh, to get his pension. Okay, so he's an old boomer. Gowdy Taub is much more responsive. Okay, well, I'll hit up Gowdy Taub. You know what? Let me just make sure that I'm still following. Gowdy Taub. Oh, I do not see a Gowdy Taub. Oh, because I'm spelling it wrong. No, I'm not spelling it wrong. All right, well, I might need Gowdy Taub's Twitter handle because that's not coming up when I look for it. Okay, we got here. Going back down to the bottom. Oh, man. Okay, Gaetz, we got that. Could still serve in DOJ, maybe just not as top dog. Otherwise, seems a bit weak. Oh, Gaddy, not Gaudy. Okay, hold on. There's a lot of people who misspell it. Gowdy Taub following. Oh, no, don't unfollow. And let me see. Can I message him? Yes. Okay, here, I'm doing it right now. Getting requests from our locals community for an interview. Would you come on? Question mark. Bada bing, bada boom. Sent. Okay. That is it. Done. Okay. And then we got Garrettson. Ryan Garrettson, raise your hands if you're unvaccinated and had COVID less than 4 times. I've had COVID 4 times. They don't know that Angela Belcamino is a parody account. Here. Angela Belcamino is a parody account. Everybody has to know that at this point. Let me just make sure it's the same Angela Belcamino. That's the girl who's the single 43-year-old liberal strong. Yeah, it's a parody account, guys. Bold lib. So I'll tell Garrettson because I'm friends with him on Twitter. So yeah, but yeah, let me see. Well, I got 2 shots. I've only had COVID that I know of once. I think I've only had it confirmed once, but I will admit I definitely stopped testing after it became idiotic to continue testing for I won't say family members call me and say, we got COVID. It's like, what the fuck are you still testing 4 years out for? Who cares if you have it? You're better off having that than having the flu. It's the new Tatiana McGrath. She's so good, people don't understand it. But it's in my mind, it's confirmed parody because I think she confirmed it at one point. Did you send it to the right guy, Sviantis? Yes, I did. Okay, and we got that. Oh, let's see here. Oh, was there anything else that I wanted to bring up in the backdrop? Everyone, I think we've done it. Yeah, the 4 Pinocchios. These were this was the Heritage Foundation, which is a trustworthy source. Washington Post fact checker should try fact-checking Washington Post fact checker should try checking facts about Soros prosecutor. Did we find out? Not that it matters. I'm just curious. Is Glenn Kessler Jewish, or is he one of the Germanic non-Jewish names? Let me go into the chat here and find out. Yeah, who's my guy? Come on, Viva. You had more shots than that. Whiskey shots, gin shots, Sviantis. Well, I'll have you know that when gin shots are placed in a glass, it becomes a martini. And when you put cilantro in it, it becomes a soup, and it's not an alcoholic beverage. So there's that. Oh, yeah. It's the common cold at this point, says neurodivergent. No medical advice. I just think it's idiotic to be testing for COVID at this point in time. Face it, the Republican Party will destroy Trump and Vance if they don't destroy the Republican Party first. The Republican Party is a cancer in America. Better to go down fighting than pretend it's otherwise, says Rich987. That's on the comment side. And then we go to the right side. We got Encryptus. They are looking for hardworking, smart people. Not sure I would qualify. But I definitely did. Did you know soy sauce has alcohol and it's like 4%? I'm going to call bullcrap on that, Svihansis. I know that proper vanilla has alcohol in it because the homeless people, when the SAQ the liquor store would be closed, they would go buy legit vanilla at a grocery store, even though it costs at least the cost now is exponentially higher. Soya sauce alcohol in it? Soya sauce? Okay. We're gonna have to we're gonna split the difference here. Despite Svi, it looks like it's 1.5% and 2%, depending on the producer. Ugh. Can you imagine how much soy sauce you'd have to drink to get a buzz? I mean, you'd be vomiting. You'd be. It's what is it? Hypernatremia. You'd be suffering from an overdose of salt before you'd get any alcohol benefit out of that. Okay. I didn't know that at all, though. Okay. I think there's a traditional soy sauce called martini that has alcohol in it. Hyphen says, Viva, I have the PCR test. I lost $10,000 over a PTR test. Ruined my wedding. Mother Cabri. Yeah. All right, get some last minute questions in here before, what time is it? It's 2:00. I'm not doing the podcast with Unlearn today. I'm going to go for an exercise or a bike ride, maybe a good bike ride. USA Now says California bucks Alaska and Missouri rejecting minimum wage ballot initiative. Ron White said, you can't fix stupid. I still see people wearing masks, riding alone in cars. At this point, they are criminally dumb. I was trying to think of a reason why someone could be wearing a mask. Maybe they're immunocompromised with cancer and that makes them feel good. I mean, that's the only way I can. I'm in Florida. I see a lot. And it's a specific demographic. It's two demographics that are still wearing masks right now. I am Fraggle. What did I misread? Okay, maybe I misread something. Kikkoman soy sauce contains greater than 2% alcohol by volume. That's the one I use. One of the people says the symptoms are indistinguishable from seasonal flu. Even CC site admits the tests were never proven. Can be rigged 3 ways, including excess cycles and amplification. How can you know you had COVID? I don't think I killed one of the people. I knew the risks. The false positives on those stupid ass tests were beyond the pale, and I knew. But one thing I did understand is the cycle rates for determining if you did the PCR test. Those home test kits, they were so bloody. I mean, I guess they were consistent when we all had it, and all the tests said we all had it in like a nice dark purple line, the whole family. But yeah, it's. Spinnaker says, I'm severely immunocompromised due to cancer and don't wear a mask. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of a way to make it make sense. All right, back to work, says Svihansis. Thanks for the entertainment and shitty news episode. See ya. And then we got to the amplification. We got the TV movie. My one doctor I saw yesterday was wearing a mask. It says RP McMurphy. And neurodivergence says way too many cycles. All right, so let's end it. And not because Svihansis is starting the Exodus, but let's do it. I'm going to go get an energy drink. I'm going to go, not that anybody needs to know, relieve myself, pee-pee, and then exercise because I'm body shaming myself for having eaten gummy, freaking those stupid Welsh gummy fruits before going to bed. Got to keep them out of the house. I got to get my wife to keep them out of the house because when I have them, I eat them. Okay, go and enjoy the day, people. Thank you for being here. I shall see ye all tomorrow. For sure, but I'm going to go do a vlog as well tonight. Probably the Jussie Smollett highlights from the judgment. Remember the 10 seconds, and I shall see you all on the flip side of the interwebs, Dude Meisters. Peace.